Hello everyone, Jules here. Today I'd like to show a great indie deck that was published this year. That is the Orphic Tarot. Here is the box, and this was self-published by the artist who is known as A.K.A or A.K.A Skyweb. This is a great deck, and it's a deck that I really love and I have connected with instantly, and that's for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's because of the great art, but it's also equally because of the theme, which is the Greek pantheon, which is to do with all of the Greek gods and goddesses, and the god Orpheus in particular, which is why this is called the Orphic Tarot. So it's all about the Orphic tale and the Orphic mysteries. So there's information about that in the little white book. So here is the box, and it has a magnetic clasp on the side. So it just opens like this. Really good, strong box. And the colour theme is mainly black, white and red, which is for the triple goddess. So for people who don't realise those three colours, it's white for the maiden, red for the mother or creatrix, and black for the crone. So here is the box, and here is the little white book written by the artist, and it's also inspired and based on a book which I will show you in a moment, but it has the background for each of the cards because all of the cards are associated with a god or goddess. That's all the cards, and there's an extra 10 cards in this deck as well. So it has the background here for all of the cards and the associated god or goddess, and then it has an upright or reversed meaning. And for each of the cards as well, there is associated keywords, and for each of the major arcana cards there is an excerpt from the Orphic Hymns, and I will show you a book that's very much connected with this little white book in a moment. I, by the way, got this deck from my favourite indie website shop, which is Two Sides Tarot, and I will put some information about that website shop for indie decks below the video. So there's the little white book, and I really like the little white book because I love the background for each of the gods and goddesses, and the meanings for the cards really tie in well, as well for each of these gods and goddess associations. So I really like the little white book. I think it's been really well researched. That's written by the artist. Now, just to show you quickly the book that's very much associated with this, and there is a reference to this book and the author in the front of the little white book. This is the Orphic Hymns by Patrick Dunn. This is a hardcover book. I don't think it's available in paperback, but it's published by Llewellyn, and this was published about 3 years ago. And the Orphic Hymns were translated from the Greek, and they were first translated, I believe, by Thomas Taylor. And Thomas Taylor, in this particular book, at the back of the book, there is the translated hymns by Thomas Taylor as well, and I'm fairly sure that was translated in 1792. And I really like that translation. I actually like both translations in this book. And the book also has a great glossary for all of the gods and goddesses in here. It's a glossary of terms and particularly all the gods and goddesses that the hymns are dedicated to. And I think this is great. This is a great book, and it's particularly good because I like the addition of the Thomas Taylor translation for the Orphic Hymns. There's 87 Orphic Hymns. Yes, this was the additional Orphic hymn translation, does date to 1792. So this is a great book if you're interested in getting this. And I think it's a great supplement to the deck as well. And I was interested in getting this book anyway, but now that I have this deck, this is like a must-have for me. So here is the book, and I'll put some details below the video about that. There are basically no illustrations in this book. It just goes straight into the hymns. And there is a translation by Patrick Dunn in English, and then the opposite page has Greek, the Greek version of the hymn for people who can read Greek. And there is an introduction in the book. And the subtitle for this book is A New Translation for the Occult Practitioner. So this is also for people who want to use these hymns as dedications or devotions to the Greek pantheon. So there's that book. So now on to the cards, now on to the deck. The cardstock is really good. It's got a matte finish, and it has a beautiful, really beautiful black gilding. It's sort of, I hope you can see this. See how it's sort of shine. It's sort of shiny, like metallic. It's got a metallic black sheen. It's just gorgeous, and I really love that. And the back of the cards, here's the back of the cards, which is to do with the, I think it's the god Phanes emerging from the Orphic egg. So you can see the astrological signs around the outside. So the back of the cards are really beautiful too. And there are 10 additional cards in this deck, and an extra a card for Orpheus, and I'll show that as well. And I'll also show a few of the extra Major Arcana cards that are in here. So there's quite a bit to look at and go through here. So now to start with the Major Arcana cards. Here is the Fool card, and this is Pan, the god Pan. And there are 2 Fool cards. I'm going to show the additional Major Arcana cards at the end of the video. So these have got Roman numerals. There are no titles on the cards, but there is a PDF that's available, which is tying in with the website for the artist. And this was a Kickstarter deck to begin with. So here is the Fool, and you can see the element of air at the top here. So Pan as the Fool, I think it's perfect. I'm very enthusiastic about this deck. Here is the Magician. And I'm fairly sure that this is Fane's again. Or the Magician. And again you've got the astrological signs here. The titles are on the card, but they're in Greek. But that doesn't really distract me. The cards are numbered with Roman numerals. So that's the Magician. Here is the Empress. Now, I love this colour palette because I love black and white decks, and the addition of the red just works really well. So this is the Empress, and there's just a 3 with the Roman numerals down here. It's the Empress, the Emperor, who I'm fairly sure is Zeus. Lovers, I really love the Greek pantheon, and I love the Orphic mysteries. Justice, and Justice is 8 in this deck, which I also like, because I much prefer the traditional numbering, which is in keeping with the Marseille and in keeping with Thoth decks. Justice, the Hermit. The cardstock is very good. It's sturdy, it's got a great feel. The cards are so interesting. It's the Hermit, Strength, Death card. There's an alternative death card. This one is representing Persephone, which I really like. I love that this is showing Persephone in the underworld here, below the earth, below the soil. This is a great death card, and I love that it is representing Persephone. This is Temperance. And this is one of the alternative Temperance cards. And in a way, you can sort of tell because the alternative cards have some orange colouring to them rather than the red. So in that way you can kind of, or for me anyway, I can recognise the orange for the alternative cards. So this is Temperance. Great Devil card. just an amazing devil card. It's got a diabolical feel, which you would expect a devil card to have. The Star. Now this is the Moon card, and there's two other Moon cards as well. But I like this one. Here's the Moon card. Here is the Sun. So this is the god Apollo. And this looks like Apollo in his chariot. Judgment, and this is another one of the alternative cards. I'm fairly sure, I'll double check in a moment, but this has got the orange colouring in this. I'm fairly sure this is the alternative judgment card. And this is one of the alternative. Well, this is the main world card. So here is the world card. That's the world card. I'm just going to double check in the little white book about judgment. I'm fairly sure. Yes, there are two judgment cards. Yes. So I did just show you the alternative judgment card. Okay, now for some of the minor arcana. So you have your usual suits, but they are named in English and Greek. Coins, so you have coins, wands, cups and swords. But there's also the Greek name for the suits as well. So here is the first minor card, the Ace of Wands. So you can see the large wand in the center of the card. Ace of Wands. I love all the red in the Wands cards. This is the Seven of Wands. So you can see the emblem for the suit and the numbering in Roman numerals, usually in the corner, one of the corners. Seven of Wands. I really love this card. Such a beautiful card. Seven of Wands and the Knight of Wands. You have the fire element here. I'm not having too much trouble recognizing these cards, and I know some people may have a bit of a problem because there aren't the English titles, but I'm not having a problem with that. I think it's because I have connected so instantly with this deck. It's like from the time I opened the box, it's like I already recognised the cards. It's that rarely happens to me. So here is Cups, Ace of Cups. So here's the cup here, cup emblem. I think it's a type of deck that I have wanted for so long, and I have just instantly connected with the artwork and the theme. Ace of Cups, and I happen to be doing some deep inner journey work with the Greek pantheon and the Greek mythology, so this is also great timing for me. Nine of Cups. I think this is a perfect Nine of Cups. And the Queen of Cups. Now this card is a little bit different. Occasionally some of the cards will have an additional colour, especially for the court cards. So this card has some purple colouring in here as well as the red. Here is the Queen of Cups. Now for swords, here is the Ace of Swords. So you can just see a 1 here for the numbering, the Roman numeral. So Ace of Swords. Six of Swords, this is a really beautiful card. And the Queen of Swords. I'm going to be using this deck for inner work, but I know that in the Little White Book and on the website for the artist, it was particularly created for shadow work. I use inner work, which is different to shadow work, but you could quite easily use this card for shadow work, and you could also use it as a divination deck as well. And now for pentacles, coins. It's called coins in this deck. Ace of Coins, You can see the coin emblem here. Two of coins. I love the two sides of the card representing night and day with the sun and the moon. I think this is a really beautiful six of coins. It's really beautiful. And I love the way these borders are done. It's not too intrusive. I think that's a really original way to create a border for cards. I really like that idea. Six of coins, and my favourite, this is the page of coins, which is actually the god Orpheus, who this deck is named after. The god of the Orphic mysteries. And I should mention as well that there is more than one myth for Orpheus. A lot of people know the later myth, which is about Orpheus and his partner Eurydice, but there are at least two other versions of the myth, and I actually prefer the other versions, so I wanted to mention that. The most known version, which is to do with Orpheus visiting the Underworld and looking for his partner Eurydice, that is the latest version of that myth. I like the two other versions. So this is Orpheus, the page of coins. I really love that card. And the King of Coins. What a perfect King of Coins. Very earthy. And it's a great King of Coins. So there's some of the cards that I particularly like, and I'm just going to show a few of the additional alternative cards for the Major Arcana, just a few. So here is the alternative Fool card. And again, you can see the orange colouring for this card, because it's one of the alternative cards. It is a beautiful card. I like that one. I like that, but Pan is one of my favourites, so I'm going to be likely choosing most of the time. And this is a great alternative death card, which is Hades in the Underworld. Hades, who was king of the Underworld, below the earth. So this is a great card too. Great death card, another great death card. So what else do we have here? Well, I'm not going to show all of these because time constraint. I think that is it for now. That is it for now, for the time constraints. But if you want to get this deck, you will see the additional, there's an additional 10 cards. I was just considering I might just show the additional, one of the additional moon cards. There's one of the additional moon cards. So I'm fairly sure with the moon cards that it is representing full moon, new moon, and I'll just double check that for the 3 moon cards, what that's actually representing in the little white book. Full moon, new moon, and the moon, the regular moon. Okay, so there are some of the great cards from a wonderful deck, the Orphic Tarot. I think this is one of the best indie decks that I have seen for a while, and I don't buy many indie decks. I haven't bought an indie deck for quite a while before this one, but when I saw this deck I just absolutely had to have it, and I am not disappointed at all. I was not disappointed from the time I first opened the box. It is a really great deck, and it's perfect for the things that I'm interested in. And I love the Greek pantheon, I love the Orphic mysteries. So it's perfect for people who are interested in the Greek pantheon and all the Orphic mysteries. So this is a great deck. It's really worthwhile getting. So I'll put some details below the video about the deck, the website where you can get the deck, also the website for where I got this deck, Two Sides Tarot, which is the indie deck website shop. And I'll put some details also about the Orphic Hymns book, translated by Patrick Dunn. So I hope you enjoyed seeing some of these cards from this great deck. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.